Ethan Gray was a tired man. He woke up early every day, walked through dry, broken land, and tried to save a farm that had already died years ago. The sun over his head was hot, the sky empty, and the earth gave him nothing back. His crops were gone. His savings were gone. All he had left was an old tractor, a shotgun, and this land that used to feed his family. That evening, as the sun touched the horizon, he walked back toward the barn. Dust followed every step. His boots were heavy. His hands were dirty. And his heart felt hollow, but something was different. He heard a strange sound. A low cough, not human, but close. It came from behind the barn. He stopped. He listened. The cough came again. He picked up his shotgun, careful and quiet, and stepped around the corner of the barn. There, lying on the ground, half hidden in weeds and shadow, was something not from earth. It was tall, thin, and bent like an old tree. Its skin was dull green, almost like wet moss. Two long arms, one clearly broken. A torn brown robe barely covered its body. Its head was strange, round, but with soft lines and eyes that faintly glowed like fireflies. Ethan didn't move. The creature looked at him. It didn't seem scared. Just tired. Then it spoke. Its voice was cracked like someone who hadn't had water in days. "I'll carry your burdens, human. Just feed me tonight." Ethan blinked. Did he hear that right? "What? Are you?" he asked, voice low. The alien tried to sit up, but fell back down. "A farmer," it whispered. "Like you, long ago. On another world, before the stars turned cold." Ethan looked around. The wind was still, no noise, just this thing lying on his land asking not for help, but to help. "Are you hurt?" "Yes, but not in a way you can fix." The alien coughed again. A small line of blue blood ran down its chin. "I ran from war. From masters, from chains. I used to carry the burdens of many. Now I just ask to carry one." Ethan stepped closer, but carefully. "You don't look like a soldier." "I wasn't," said the alien. "I was a burden carrier. My race served others. We lifted, we worked, we healed, we obeyed. Until we said no." He closed his glowing eyes. "They killed us all." For a moment, Ethan didn't know what to say. He had never believed in aliens, let alone one showing up in his field like a broken bird. "Why are you here?" he finally asked. "Because I have nothing left. Just hands and hunger. Let me help. Let me carry your burdens. And in return, just feed me." Ethan looked down at the cracked earth. His land hadn't grown anything in 2 years. He had no real food, just canned beans and old bread. But this thing didn't ask for shelter, or weapons, or escape, just a task. A purpose. He lowered the shotgun. "I don't know what you are," he said, "but you look like you're dying." "I am," the alien said, smiling faintly. "But I can die useful," Ethan sighed. He wasn't a hero. He wasn't even sure he was still a good man. But something inside him, maybe pity, maybe curiosity, told him to say yes. "Fine, you can stay for tonight. I'll give you food. But no tricks." The alien nodded slowly. "No tricks, just soil. Just silence, just rest." Ethan turned to walk away, but stopped. "What's your name?" he asked. The alien paused. "Thayik," it said finally. "Last of the burden carriers?" That night, Ethan gave him half a loaf of bread and a bottle of water. Thayik ate slowly, as if tasting food for the first time. Later, when Ethan came to check on him, Thayik was not resting. He was standing in the dead field. His broken arm hung at his side, but his other hand touched the soil. His fingers dug gently into the earth, and where he touched, the ground began to glow, a soft green light, warm, alive. Ethan's eyes widened. "What are you doing?" he asked. Thayik. "Not look back." "Carrying your burdens," he whispered. Far away, in the night sky, a soft hum began, a sound like metal moving, not wind. Not thunder. Ethan looked up. 3 blinking lights floated in the distance, silent, watching, and deep inside he knew. This was only the beginning. The next morning, Ethan woke before sunrise. The air smelled strange, not like dust, but like rain. But there had been no rain in months. He grabbed his boots, walked outside, and froze. His dead field was alive. Green sprouts covered the center of the land. Fresh, glowing veins ran through the dirt like quiet lightning. The earth looked soft, breathing, reborn, and there, kneeling in the middle of it, was Thaic. He wasn't resting. He wasn't weak anymore. He was humming, a low, deep hum, like an old song. Not words, just feeling. Ethan stepped forward, confused, cautious. "What is this?" he asked. Thaic looked up, slow and calm. His eyes glowed brighter now. "Your soil is not dead, just forgotten," I reminded it. "This isn't normal. Nothing about me is." Ethan stepped into the green patch. The ground felt soft, warm, almost alive. "How did you do this?" Thaic didn't answer. Instead, he raised his hand. A small cut bled softly, blue blood. A few drops fell onto the dirt. The plants near his feet grew taller. Instantly, Ethan's eyes widened. "It's your blood." "Not just blood," Thaic said. "Memory, pain, my kind were made to serve, but also to grow." He stood slowly, his robe dragging across the ground like smoke. "We were not built for war. But when war came, we used what we had." Ethan stared at the field. He should have been amazed. He should have felt lucky, but instead, he felt something else, fear. "Why are you really here, Thaic?" The alien didn't speak right away. Then he whispered, "Because you were dying. And so was I, but one of us still had something left to give." Later that day, Ethan brought out his broken tools. Rusted metal, dead engines, old hope. Thaic walked to the tools, touched them gently, and whispered to them. The engine turned. Once, then again. Then roared. Ethan almost dropped the oil can. "You fixed it," I asked it to remember its purpose. "You keep saying that. Memory. What does that mean?" Thaic's glowing eyes dimmed. "In my world, we don't fix with parts. We fix with stories, with feeling. Everything holds memory, human, even your soil." Ethan sat down, trying to understand. "So, you're saying this land remembers better times?" "Yes, and now it's willing to try again." For the first time in years, Ethan felt something strange in his chest. Hope. That night. Ethan gave Thaic a full meal, canned beans, half a potato, and water. Thaic didn't eat fast. He chewed every bite like it was holy. They sat by a small fire near the barn. Ethan finally asked, "What happened to your people?" Thaic looked into the flames. "We carried the burdens of empires. We held up worlds. We healed, farmed, and kept peace. But when we asked to rest, they gave us war." His voice cracked. "We were peaceful. They called us weak. So we became something else. Fighters?" "No," Thaic said. "We became soil." Ethan didn't understand. "We buried ourselves in every world we touched. Pieces of us became seeds." He placed his hand on the ground. "That's why your land listens to me. I am not just Thaic. I am every burden carrier who ever lived." Ethan's mouth went dry. "You're not just one alien? You're all of them?" "No," Thaic said quietly. "I'm the last memory of them. That's all I have left to give." Suddenly, a loud click echoed from the trees. Ethan stood up fast. Thaic froze. A drone hovered above the trees, smooth, black, blinking with red lights. "That's not mine," Ethan said. "Thaic's." Voice dropped. "They found me." The drone scanned the field, paused over the glowing crops, then zipped away into the sky. "Who was that?" Ethan asked. "Watchers, from the sky. They belong to the ones who hunted us." Ethan looked up. The stars were quiet, but he didn't trust them anymore. "They know you're here now." "Then we must work faster." "For what?" Thaic turned to him, calm and certain. "To finish planting memory before they erase it again." 3 red lights hovered in the sky, not blinking, not moving. Watching, they had arrived in silence, just after midnight. 3 drones, black, smooth, cold, not from Earth. Ethan stared at them from his porch. He didn't breathe. Didn't move. Thaic was standing beside him, completely still. "Are those yours?" Ethan whispered. Thaic slowly shook his head. "No, they are machines, from my past, not mine." "Never mine?" The 3 lights shifted slightly, as if noticing movement, and then flew off in different directions silently. "They didn't attack," Ethan said. "They don't need to. Not yet. They mark, they scan, and then they return to their masters. Ethan rubbed his face. You said you were hiding, but from who, Thayek? The alien turned toward him, his glowing eyes dimmed, voice low. From the ones who created us and feared us when we changed, earlier that day. Ethan had taken Thayek into town. Wearing a hoodie, sunglasses, and a dusty coat, Thayek passed as a sick old man, barely. The small farming town was quiet. A few gas stations, a feed store. One bar. Ethan needed seeds and supplies, but Thayek wanted something else. Inside the store, Thayek wandered toward a shelf of old radios. He picked one up gently. A dusty, broken unit. Useless to humans, but Thayek held it to his chest and closed his eyes. It lit up. A soft green glow blinked from its side. Ethan saw it and panicked. Put that down. But Thayek didn't move. Instead, the radio spoke. Not in English. In something older. Metal and song mixed together. The store lights flickered. Then it stopped. Thayek placed the radio back. It remembers the sky, he said quietly. You activated something, Ethan hissed. People saw that. They were already coming, Thayek whispered. Now they just know where to look. Back to the night. After the drones disappeared, Thayek walked back into the glowing field. Ethan followed him. Tell me everything now, no more riddles. Thayek bent down, placing both hands into the soil. He looked up. We were born as tools. We were created to build, to heal, to farm. But when we asked for rest, they feared our minds. Who's they? The Coran Union? A galactic empire? Still alive? Still searching? Why search for you? Thayek stood. Because I left with something. Forbiddance. He reached into his robe and pulled out a small, cube-shaped stone. It floated in his hand, black with glowing blue cracks. It pulsed like a heartbeat. What is that? Ethan asked. Memory. Buried in matter, the last soul of my kind. Ethan stared. You're carrying your people? Thayek nodded. They could not kill us all. So I buried one in this. And now they're coming for it. Thayek looked toward the sky. They always return. Machines first, then fire. Suddenly, the radio in Ethan's house turned on by itself. Crackling, buzzing, then a voice. Cold, robotic, not human. Human! Residence detected. Soil anomaly confirmed. Unauthorized burden signature located. Retrieval in 48 hours. Then silence. Ethan's blood ran cold. They're giving us a warning? No, Thayek said. They're giving you a choice. Ethan looked at the cube in Thayek's hand. Then at the field. Then at the stars. What happens if I say no? Then you carry my burden? And if I say yes? Then I die. And the memory dies with me. Just then, the ground shook. Not much, just a tremor, but it came from deep below. Thayek suddenly turned pale. That wasn't from the sky, he whispered. That was from under. What's under us? Ethan asked. Thayek, who didn't answer. His eyes stared hard at the earth. Then he said one word. Something old. Asterisk. Do you want to know who we really were? Thayek's voice was calm, but his hands trembled as he held the black memory cube. Not just servants. Not just workers. We were made to suffer and to never forget. That morning, after the ground shook, Ethan led Thayek into the old root cellar, the only place deep enough to hide from the eyes above. The stone walls were cold. The air smelled of dirt and time. Ethan placed a lantern down. Thayek sat on a crate, the cube in his lap, glowing faintly like a heartbeat. You said the machines are coming, Ethan said. You said you stole this. Memory, Thayek looked at the flame, not Ethan. It's not just memory, it's a mind. The last one of my kind. We called him Karawalan, the oldest. The seed mother, he was not born. He was shaped by stars. Ethan sat across from him, quiet. And now he sleeps. Inside this cube. Thayek nodded slowly. We were the burden carriers. Across the galaxy, we lifted what others threw away. We cleaned their poisoned lands, healed their broken bodies, raised their cities from ash, and for that, they never said thank you. Instead, Thayek whispered, They took our memories. He placed the cube on the floor. It floated, began to spin. A hologram appeared, not sharp, but clear enough to see. Strange star systems, alien cities built into mountains, towering beings with silver skin and glowing crowns, and among them, small, bent figures, carrying, working, bleeding. That's your race? That was us before the revolt. Thayek stood and walked in a slow circle as the images played around them. One day we asked to stop, just stop, rest, learn, think for ourselves. They laughed. So we refused to rise. We laid down across entire worlds, stopped their machines, broke their empires with stillness. Ethan stared at the floating images. You won? Thayek shook his head. No, we lost, but not before planting seeds. One seed in every world we ever touched. He looked up at Ethan. One of those worlds was yours. The cube flashed suddenly. A new image appeared. An ancient map. Not of space, but of Earth, before humans, before cities. Just green, oceans, and stars. One spot blinked. The center of Ethan's land. What the hell is that? Ethan asked. A sleeping ground. A root mind, one of the last. Hidden beneath your soil for 10,000 years, and now it's waking. Suddenly the earth rumbled again, not far away, just below. The lantern flickered. A small stone fell from the ceiling. Thayek grabbed the cube. The map disappeared. It hurt us. What hurt us? Thayek paused. Something that was buried alive. Something that remembers being used and betrayed. You didn't just bring danger from the stars, did you? Ethan said slowly. You uncovered something already here. They rushed out of the cellar. Outside, the field was strange. The crops glowed too bright. The soil had cracked in perfect lines, as if drawn by invisible hands, circles, symbols, old. Ethan felt dizzy just looking at them. It's drawing sigils, Thayek said. Why? It's calling to something. In the sky, 3 more drones appeared, but they didn't fly away this time. They hovered, waiting. Then, from above, a voice spoke again. Cold and sharp, final warning, return the burdened memory. Deactivation strike in 24 Earth hours. Thayek looked at Ethan. They don't know what sleeps here. If they strike, they'll wake it. Wake what? Ethan asked, voice shaking. Thayek placed a hand on the glowing soil. A mind that never forgives. Ethan walked back to his porch and sat down, shotgun across his knees. This started as me helping an alien in a field. He looked at Thayek. Now I'm sitting on top of buried gods? Thayek smiled faintly. You fed me, so I stayed. But I never said it would. Be simple. Far beneath the farm, in the deep black, something opened an eye, not made of flesh, not of metal, but of memory. It started with a hum, not in the sky, not in the machines, but in the ground. Ethan felt it in his bones, a quiet vibration beneath his boots. Like a giant heartbeat, slow, steady, waking. In the crops. We're listening. At sunrise, Ethan stepped into the field. Every stalk of corn, every leaf, every green shoot was facing one direction, toward the center of the farm, where the soil glowed with a new color. Not green. Blue, cold, electric. He reached down and touched the dirt. It was warm yesterday. Now it pulsed like ice. Thayek, he shouted. It's changing again. The alien appeared from behind the barn, holding the memory cube in both hands. His robe dragged behind him, soaked in soil. It's trying to speak, Thayek said, but we're not ready to listen. Later that day the sky dimmed, but no clouds came. Just shadow. One of the drones returned, but it didn't hover. It landed, smooth, silent, a black egg resting at the edge of the field. Ethan raised his shotgun. I don't like this. Thayek stepped forward slowly. The drone split open. Inside was no weapon. No bomb, just a small white stone. It blinked once. Then projected a voice, female, synthetic, calm. You are trespassing on ancient ground. Return the memory. This soil holds danger even we cannot control. Thayek stepped closer. You were the ones who buried it? We warned your kind, the voice replied. Now it's too late. Then the drone sealed shut and vanished. as if the earth swallowed it whole. That night, Ethan sat by the cellar door. The ground was louder. Now. Not shaking, but whispering, he couldn't understand the words. But they were there, a language made of pressure, of breath, of memory. Thayik sat beside him. We're standing on a grave, Ethan said quietly. A grave you reopened. No, Thayik replied. A seed. You just never knew it was planted. Ethan turned to him. Why here? Why my land? Because something in you answered. I didn't do anything, Thayik smiled faintly. You fed me. You listened. That was enough. The next morning, the center of the field cracked. A circle of dirt collapsed in, revealing stairs made of stone and light. No one built them recently. They were ancient. Waiting. Ethan stared. Did you do that? No, Thayik said. It opened by itself. That means it's ready. Ready for what? For you. They descended together, shotgun in Ethan's hand, cube in Thayik's arms. The stairwell went deep underground. Stone turned to smooth metal. Symbols lit the walls. Not carved, alive like veins in a body. This place was made by my kind, Thayik whispered. But not for us, for someone like you. Ethan laughed nervously. I'm a farmer, not a prophet. So were we. They reached a large underground chamber. At the center was a tree. Not made of wood, made of crystal and memory. Its roots floated in the air, its leaves were data. It breathed light. Ethan stood in silence, his mouth open. Is that alive? It remembers, Thayik said. He stepped forward and touched. The bark, the cube in his hand, dissolved, the glowing dust moving into the tree's core. The whole room lit up. The tree spoke. Burden recognized, soil accepted, host found. Wait, host. Ethan stepped back. The light wrapped around. His hand. Memories flooded in. Of alien wars, starships exploding, worlds screaming. And always. The burden carriers walking through fire, holding life in their hands. Ethan dropped to his knees. What the hell is this? It's not showing you the past, Thayik said. It's asking you to carry it forward. I didn't sign up for this. Neither did we, Thayik whispered. But someone must remember, or it all dies again. Suddenly, alarms blared in the distance. The sky shook. The machines were returning. And this time, they weren't sending drones. They were sending ships. War was coming to the farm. Above ground. The soil cracked wider. Roots of memory began to rise. The field was no longer just earth. It was part of something older, something waking. Something ready to fight back. Asterisk. Day 0, 5:43 m. Earth's orbit. Classified military cum log. Object now visible above North America. Size, 12 kilometers. No known origin, no response to hails. Requesting presidential authorization to initiate planetary defense protocol. Ethan woke to the sound of sirens. Not local ones, national. The kind you hear once in a lifetime. The kind that means the sky is falling. He stepped outside. The sky was still dark. But the stars were moving. No. One star, getting closer. Thayik, he whispered. You need to come see this. In the field, the plants were no longer green. They had turned silver. Like metal wrapped in life. And at the center, the memory tree stood taller, now pulsing with light. Its roots had cracked the earth open wider, humming with energy no human had ever felt. Thayik stood beside it, silent, staring at the sky. They've arrived, he said. The ones who built you? The ones who destroyed us. Breaking news report. A massive unidentified object is currently in low orbit. The Pentagon has not confirmed if it is hostile. Evacuations have begun in multiple states. Ethan's phone buzzed. Unknown number. No caller ID. He answered, a woman's voice. Calm, direct. Mr. Gray, this is the United Nations Special Threat Division. How do you know my name? You've been observed. You are harboring a Class 9 memory life form. We're sending a convoy to retrieve you and the entity. He has a name, and we don't care. We're not asking. Click. They're coming for you, Ethan told Thayik. No, they're coming for the tree, he said. They think it's a weapon, is it? No, but it remembers weapons. And if it feels fear, it will defend itself. Ethan looked out at the sky. The ship had grown larger, now clearly visible even in daylight, black, silent, watching. Its surface reflected nothing, just Dobson stopped by noon. Military vehicles rolled into the outskirts of Ethan's town. Helicopters thundered overhead. His farm became a no-fly zone. News drones circled the area like vultures. A group of soldiers in black suits arrived at his gate. "Step aside, sir. We are authorized to remove the non-human object by force." Ethan stood between them and the field. He's not an object. He's the reason this land is alive again. He's a threat. He's a friend. They raised weapons. Suddenly the air shifted. The tree responded, a low hum, so deep it shook their bones. The weapons glowed red, then melted. Men screamed and ran back to the trucks. Thyik walked forward, glowing brighter than ever. "It doesn't want to kill," he said, "but it remembers pain, and it will not allow it again." That night, Thyik stood at the edge of the glowing roots. Ethan joined him. "The governments of Earth want you dead. That is their pattern. The Empire in orbit wants the memory. They want control. What they always wanted. So what do we do?" Thyik turned to him. "You decide, this tree. This memory, it has chosen you? Chosen me for what? To carry it forward or to end it?" Ethan looked up at the stars. One of them blinked. No, it flared, a warning. "They're charging something." "A planetary strike," Thyik said. "They won't wait much longer." "Can't we fight?" Thyik looked down. "We're not fighters, Ethan. We are burden carriers. We survive, we remember, but once, just once, we resisted, and we paid the price." Ethan stared at the tree. The silver leaves shimmered in the wind. They knew the answer before he did, but still they waited. "If I carry this, I lose everything. My land, my life, my people." "If you don't," Thyik said, "we lose everyone?" In orbit, a final countdown began. Target locked. Planetary sterilization beam charged. The ship's lights dimmed. The stars turned red. Back on Earth. Ethan walked to the tree. He reached out his hand. It wrapped its light around his wrist. His skin shimmered with data, with memory, with pain. And with purpose. "I'll carry it," Ethan whispered. "I'll carry it all," the sky responded. The ship's countdown stopped. Something had changed. The memory had a new host. And now the Empire would face something it had not faced in millennia, a human with history in his blood. Silence. That's how it began. No sirens, no shouting, no warnings, just one man standing in a glowing field, and an alien ship blotting out the sky. Ethan Gray was no soldier. He had calloused hands, a tired back, and dirt under his nails. But now he carried the last memory of a lost civilization inside his bones, and the empire that once burned galaxies had come for him. The tree behind him shimmered, now fully grown, its silver leaves floating in midair. Its roots hummed with all the voices of the burden carriers. Every scream, every whisper, every act of kindness was alive inside him. Now Thyik stood nearby, quiet, proud. "You don't have to do this," he said softly. Ethan looked up. "But someone has to." The ship began to descend, not to land but to erase. Its lower hull opened. A light charged, bright as a second sun, silent, beautiful, deadly. Earth had hours left, unless someone changed the story. Ethan stepped into the center of the field. He placed his palm on the soil. The tree pulsed once, then vanished, dissolving into light, pulled into Ethan's body. The land went dark, only he glowed now. A voice echoed from above, cold, ancient, mechanical. "You are the unauthorized host of Forbidden's memory. Release it now or be neutralized." Ethan raised his head, and for the first time he answered the sky. "No, then prepare for elimination." "Wait," he said. "I won't fight you. But I'll show you." He closed his eyes and opened. The memory. Suddenly, the sky turned white. Not fire, not destruction, but remembrance. Images poured into the ship above. Burden carriers lifting the dying, singing to broken soil, choosing peace again and again, until the empires took everything. The last one, Thyik, dragging himself across a dead field. whispering for help, asking to carry again on board. The Empire's ship, systems GLITCHED. One by one, crew collapsed to their knees, even machines. Paused, the burden was not pain. It was truth, and it was unbearable. The countdown stopped, the light shut off, for the first time in 1,000 years. The Empire stepped back. They were not forgiven, but they were seen, and memory had changed them. Back on Earth, Ethan collapsed to the ground, his body smoking, glowing with the last spark of the tree inside him. Fayek rushed forward. "You did it," he whispered. "You showed them," Ethan smiled weakly. "Told you I was just a farmer." "You were never just a farmer." The field went quiet. Above them, the massive ship slowly turned and drifted back toward the stars. No speech, no deal. Just understanding. And retreat. Weeks passed. Governments tried to explain what happened. They never could. The land healed. The silver crops remained, feeding more than just bodies, feeding hope. Ethan was never the same. He walked slower, slept less, but the glow in his eyes, it never left. One evening, a young girl from the next town wandered onto his field. She was crying. Her dog had died. Her father had left. She didn't know where to go. Ethan knelt beside her. He placed a hand on her shoulder. And with a faint light, the soil beneath them bloomed. Just a single flower. But it was enough. She looked up. "Who are you?" Ethan smiled. "I carry things, not just mine. Sometimes yours too. Some say the farm still whispers at night. Not in English, but in memory. Not in fear, but in peace, because one man said yes to burdens not his own and made the galaxy remember what it tried to forget."